Alright, it's Chun Chun here, and for today's topic, actually, we are talking about how to read and write a contract. So this is for you if normally you want to purchase a property, want to develop, or you want to purchase a piece of land, like you already like it and then you know you want to develop, so you want to go and do anything else, not just about purchase the property, but actually with your contractor, anything else. Also, when you want to develop a project, so having a contract is an essential for you to want to doing the real estate development business. So first, when you talk about agreement and what we talk about contract, everything is the truth that always need to remember is when you are dealing with people, you need to trust but always be verified when you're doing something else. So, and when you come about into legal part, we call about contract, we're gonna make sure that we are not a lawyer. So that sometimes there will be some word in the contract that we don't understand the law and any legal everything as we don't know, but that's better, especially anything else you need to hire a lawyer with you together to deal with it. That is the must for you when you come about doing the contract. So what is a contract? Is very simple. Actually, contract is agreement, and usually is written between two or more parties that become specific manner obligation in other. So it's like a promise that you agree and then become a win-win situation for both of you. So when you come about a contract, you're gonna need to know that all parties to be contract must be competent. Then they must be sufficiently mentally alert to realize and understanding what they are doing, and then someone who is diseased, brain dead, or cerebral brain damage, or in some incapable of making response, is not competent to sign a contract. You need to know that's the law. Then the contract must be concern itself with a proper subject, then a plan to rob a bank or maybe agreed upon to all parties involved, but the subject is not proper, and therefore a contract to do is cannot be legally constructed or consummated. So there must be consideration, and one party must pay the other party something. Then consideration is by the cash or a land swap or any transfer of ownership of someone, other available item, or even a service that you can provide to other. So each party must be agreed to contract. There must be mutually of agreement of obligation. A contract signed under duress is not enforceable. If, for example, if someone hand a gun in your head, want you to sign, this cannot be agreeable on the contract. You need to know. So maybe some of you telling about nowadays we have WhatsApp, WeChat, everything else. You can just use oral contract. Actually, that's cannot be. That's much more better if you have a written agreement as your contract. That's a better one. Don't use sounds record or anything else. That's not preferred for the contract. So when we talk about contract, there maybe has some cost plus contract. So that's require the developer to pay the cost of the project and then state as a percentage. Then this contract normally is you want to hire a contractor. So there's some contract is what you call is the contractor, and then another is bilateral contract. So both parties is mutual agree on the promise. So actually you don't need to go and look up and then study all the type of contract, everything else. All you need is just you want to choose a right lawyer, and the lawyer that you trust or attorney you trust, so that they will help you to go and look at it. But always remember, trust but verify. Need to choose the right lawyer to work with you together, to partner with, go along with what you want to do. So maybe some of you will think about you can do it yourself, and then you can do it yourself. So there's one advice for you is do not try to write and execute your own contract, because you need to know that when you come into, we are not the doctor. If you are sick or anything else, we are not the doctor. You we must go and see the doctor which is specialist. So you need to choose the doctor actually if you have some disease or what disease, no matter what we have, need to choose the doctor who is specialized on something. Maybe it's eye, ear, or nose, or mouth, everything else. But in the lawyer also need to choose the right lawyer to work with you or the right attorney to work with you, because you're going to choose, if you have some court case, you choose the legal lawyer, everything else. But in real estate, you need to choose the real estate industry lawyer to help you on your agreement, everything. So even though if you want to, if you hardly and then you are more likely that you want to write it yourself, can. But after you are writing your contract, that's better you give to your lawyer for review, to revision, and then writing everything out, and then ask your lawyer to check for you. If you hardly you hold on your persistence that you want to go and write it yourself, that's better you give your lawyer to write it for you, and then you look at it and then you know. Always remember, you need to call in the profession to handle a professional job, because we need to hire the people who are best or better than us. Just like Jack Ma always say, he created Alibaba so that he not the smartest or the best person in the company, but he's always hire the person who is better than him, the expert, come and help him to build the empire. Same as you also, you want to build an empire. So there's some basic element of a contract that you want to know, even though you don't fully understand. There's some basic thing you need to know. Look at the contract when you read out. Some is the names, address, phone number, these three basic things, and then the amount of the down payment when you want to buy a piece of land or everything else, a property. So how much you need to put the down payment. So there's some, maybe you want to do some mortgage or financing. There's some term of mortgage and financing is the amount of mortgage, the buyer's interest rate, and then amortization schedule, burden note period, if any, or time period allocated for payback of the mortgage loan to the lender. This is a thing you can consider. So you need to, when come a contract, you need to look at is you need to put the date of possession in it, because there must be an official and legal point in time by which the buyer takes possession of the property for the seller. This one you need to look at it. Time frame is very important for you to put that. And then when you come about contract, you need to think that the goal is to win for the sake of winning, to beat someone else down or take advantage of any one of the solution. No, this is no. Actually, you are doing the thing that is you need to consider is win-win or no deal. Just very simple. You need to come up with winning situation. So the next is the attorney approval clause. That's important for you because the little paragraph makes sure that your attorney have enough time to thoroughly review the contract and makes any comments, recommendation, or revision prior this execution. You need to have the time frame for you. If you someone want you to sign any contract, you need to give it to your lawyer to consider first before you sign anything else. So the next part is when you want to purchase or invest in a property or buy a piece of land, for inspection period you can put into your contract. So because you need to check whether the property is good or got any dangerous materials, minerals at there or not. You need to have checked it. So you need some inspection period. So if the seller bugs at allowing sufficient time for you to inspect the property, you are considered to purchase. So there's probably got something wrong in it. You can look at it. If someone actually can give you time go and do the inspection, actually they are confident with their property or nothing to be hide. You need to know. So the last is the closing date. So the closing date is that which time that this clause is specific the date that the seller hands over the deed to the property and the buyer revoking it by handing over his or her check for that property. That is the closing that you need to know that everything is settled and then you become the owner or who else become the owner. So buyer plate, why is essential is when you talk about law or we call about legal part, everything else, we need to commit that. We need to know that when we come about legal stuff, everything else, we are just like a kindergarten when you look at it. So you need to find a professional, which means that your personal lawyer or attorney to help you do good at it, because there's some words or some legal terms that they know that we don't know. So you need to find someone who is better than us, and then you trust that go and look up with you, because maybe you think about why they want to put all the complicated thing. That is essential, because is that the point is without that language or our contract agreement will be much less specific. So there's some term that I can put so that contract will be much more specific in the there. So after we talk about review and everything else, the next thing is you need to have some element you want to include in your contract that you must put into your contract. Is the penalties upon the contractor for delays and the cost of damage due for the delay when you want to hire a contractor to help you to go and develop project. This one you need to put inside the contract. The next is the guarantee and warranties, adequate insurance coverage, naming you and your lender as an additional insured party or not. So insurance is very important for you. So the next part is you need, when you want to develop everything else, you need a long cure time, and they should have a short cure time. So the cure time, which means that your project, when whatever is done already, you need to put the contract, which means it's the time of cure. If something happen, put a little bit longer time for you to get and prepare itself. So never accept responsibility to construction on interior for commercial tenant when you want to develop a commercial project. That's the advice from this book you can look at. Is because your tenant will ask a lot of things if any damage, delay, and things. So they'll seek the damage and then they'll look out for you. This one is very important. This is for if you want to do commercial real estate. So the next part, when can you break a contract? What happened? You can break the contract. Right? You need to know is the first, the attorney approval period. The second is the inspection period. Third, an environment audit. Fourth, the mortgage contingency. These 4 things you can go and look up and then break a contract. The next is why we need to come out of the contract is because this is between he or she has honored his agreement to develop the property you want, and to buy at the agreement upon the price and the agreement upon the time, that this is a win-win for you. Because as a developer, wherever you already consider you want to develop the land and you want to develop a project, constructions, because you need to develop your plans, construction schedule, teams, budget, timetables, and end up used around a specific property. So you can never have to, you already plan on that property, you cannot straight away find another property and build the same contract, because this some, especially in land, there is not the same land anymore. So that you need to backing up for the deal automation to put in your traveling line. So it's blind reconciled by the court. You need to have something to protect you when you want to put effort on it. So always remember, no matter what excuse is offered, there's always only one reason seller want to break a contract. They think they can get a better deal from someone else. So you need to work on it. You need to know that that's the thing. So it came out of contract. You save you and your time, and your team want to look at it. So when you come out of contract, and then you need someone to hold their trust and keep their word. Then always remember to keep your word also, because as an entrepreneur, a reputation for integrity is your most valuable commodity. If you try to put something over someone, it will come back to haunt you. And then always remember, trust but verify. Always keep your word. This is what you want to do. So that is for today. So that hope you have some basic knowledge about the contract, everything else, and then hope you like it, and then you learn it. Hope you success in your future. See you. Bye.